Most of us spend, what, decades in education? But how often do we actually stop and ask what it's all for? Well, today we're digging into that exact question, and we're going to explore a really powerful idea about the true goal of learning.
So, let's just get right into it. Think about all those years in school, the late-night study sessions, the exams, the degrees. What's the ultimate point of it all? If you had to boil it all down to just one single goal, what would you say it is? For a whole lot of people, the answer looks something like this. You go to school to get a good job, you build a career, and you earn a good living, right? It's the practical, default answer that we've all been taught is the sensible one.
But what if that practical answer, while maybe not wrong, is dangerously incomplete? What if the true purpose of education is something way more powerful, something we tend to overlook when we only focus on the paycheck? That's the real tension we're going to explore.
Okay, first, let's actually dig into this conventional view. To really understand the alternative, we need to see why this whole education for income model got so popular in the first place. Because honestly, there are some really good reasons for it.
And let's be super clear. Earning money is not a bad thing. Financial security is incredibly important. It gives you stability in a pretty chaotic world. It gives you the independence to make your own choices. And it gives you the freedom to think beyond just surviving, to actually think about your purpose. The problem pops up when money becomes the only goal. The moment we reduce education down to a simple transaction, I study this so I can earn that, we completely gut it of its true power. We start ignoring what it's really designed to do. And right now, that money-first approach is starting to show some serious cracks. Those well-worn, safe career paths that we were all told to follow, they're looking less and less certain for more and more people.
This quote absolutely nails it. I mean, think about those careers we were told would always be there. Today, in so many fields, just getting the degree and following that preset path, it just doesn't guarantee a stable future or a clear way forward anymore.
And this is what you get with a saturated system. When thousands of people are all chasing the exact same degree for the exact same paycheck, you get this massive bottleneck of intense competition, and a lot of times, pretty shallow engagement. The model of just studying for the reward, it's kind of breaking down.
So, if the old model is broken, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer, a powerful new way of framing what education is really designed to do for our minds.
The world is overwhelmingly complex. It's just filled with more variables, more information, and more interconnected systems than any single one of us can possibly process at once. The true function of a good education isn't just to fill our heads with facts, but to give us the tools to navigate all of that complexity.
And the main tool for this is called systematic thought. It's a simple but really profound idea. Since we can't solve some huge, overwhelming problem all at once, we need a reliable process to break it down into smaller, manageable pieces. It's basically a method for making progress despite our own human limits.
The process itself is pretty straightforward. You take a massive challenge, you break it into its core components, you simplify those parts into something you can actually work with, and then you just tackle them one by one. This is like the mental scaffolding that keeps us from being totally overwhelmed by it all.
And this isn't just theory, it's how real-world progress actually happens. An engineer doesn't build a skyscraper all at once. They break it down into thousands of smaller, solvable problems. A policymaker can't solve poverty overnight, so they create frameworks to guide their actions in a really structured way.
This insight, it changes everything. If education's true goal is to build our problem-solving muscle, then our core motivation has to shift, away from just chasing paychecks and toward chasing meaningful problems. And the difference in that motivation is stark. Focusing mainly on income often leads to shallow engagement. Doing just enough to pass the test or get the job. But focusing on a problem you genuinely care about, that forces you to go deep. It gives your learning a powerful driving purpose.
This reframes the role of money completely. It's still essential, don't get me wrong, but it becomes a byproduct of creating value. If you use your education to solve a real, meaningful problem for other people, the compensation will almost certainly follow. Money becomes a support system for your work, not the reason you do it.
And from this perspective, education is not some status symbol to show off. It's not the degree hanging on your wall. It's an active, internal, disciplined process. It is the real capability you build by investing your time into deeply understanding and working on something that actually matters.
So, how can we actually apply all this? Let's distill everything we've talked about into a new framework that you can use.
whether you're just starting your education or you're deep into a career and thinking about, what's next. It really comes down to 4 steps. First, see education not as a destination, but as your main tool for managing complexity. Second, actively use it to build that skill of structured, systematic thinking. Third, and this is the most important part, align that skill with a problem that genuinely matters to you. And finally, reframe money as the fuel for your work, not the ultimate prize. Getting a degree isn't the finish line. Education isn't the end goal. It's the method. It's the powerful, structured way of thinking that you can apply to any challenge in any field for the rest of your life.
Which leaves us with one final crucial question. It's no longer what job will pay the most, but instead, what complex, difficult, meaningful problem in the world is truly worth your time and your attention? Now that's the real question your education is preparing you to answer.